Hi everyone, welcome to DIY Ideas. Today I'll show you how to do plant pooling, so color pooling in other words, and it's a really cool technique. This time I'm doing the ribbed pattern, so you see the colors that keep crossing with one another, and that's basically what plant pooling is. So it's pretty simple as long as you plan it well, and you get a really great result in the end. So if you're pretty new to this would be a good video to start with. So the colors that I have here are minty blue, gray, white, and this light brownish shade. So stay tuned. So I used Woolly Hugs plan, 2 spools of it. So this is particularly for plant pooling, so you see the example on here as well. When done right, of course, this is something that you would get then. Apart from that, we have 100 grams per 220 meters or 3.9 ounces and 240 yards. So doubled for the scarf as well, since we are using 2 spools. Color number 86 and 5.5 to 6.5 millimeter needle. In my case, I decided to use exactly that, so my 6 millimeter needle here with my line. So for starters, I'll also use an 8 millimeter needle so that the beginning chains are a bit looser. So feel free to do that as well. And last but not least, we have 50% wool, 28% cotton, and 22% polyamide. So let's get started. You see that I tried this out a bit and put it back on here, but anyway, we already did something like this before in crochet style, and now I decided to show you a knitting version of it. So get your needles ready. And I definitely recommend using a line this time because we're gonna have a couple of stitches on there at the same time. So the pattern is actually based on the 6 colors that keep repeating. Actually 2 are doubled, so 4 shades, but 6 sections. So here is the white first, or the beige, then the gray and the minty shade as well. Then we have light brown and again the minty shade. And again gray. And then we again start with the white or beige, and then it's again the same order. So that's basically what we have. And it always starts with the white. I usually like to start here with my stitches. It just makes everything a lot easier to work with. And make sure you are doing this loosely. That's why I took a bit bigger needle. And now we should do stitches in all 6 sections. So here is our color order. First comes the white, then gray, minty blue times 2 this time, and light brown in the middle. Last but not least, we have the gray again. The first row is our base row, so now we will take a couple of more stitches. I'll do the second white piece as well so that we have it easier later, and you'll see why. So here we are. Now let's change to our 6mm needle. The working thread is in the front. Take the first stitch onto your needle, then second one is knit stitch. Then we have a purl stitch, and again knit and purl, and you keep changing that way until you reach the end. You see I started with the gray and then comes the minty blue. I'm still staying as loose as I can. So I'll finish almost the whole thing this way. And you see I did almost the whole thing. You see the colors here, one on top of the other, and you may notice as well, if you take a closer look, that I still do have an extra couple of stitches here. So I did this as safety because it's much easier to have more than less. So I'll take these out now. And take one more, last one in a row. So the row should always have the last stitch as a knit stitch. And then we can pull this needle out and pull the stitches apart. We will weave this in at the end. So always do a bit more. It's better than having a bit less than you need. So let's start with the second row, working thread in the front. And you see here a little section left over that's enough for one stitch. So that's actually exactly what we need. So the colors shift one by one stitch at a time, and that way we get our pattern. If you want more, you can still get the effect. It would look a bit different, but it would still be there. So that's pretty much up to you how fast you want to change or how quickly. So this is not much left over, so 1 or 2 stitches is what I recommend, but feel free to try it out and see what you like best. So let me just get this in order a bit. And let's start the next row. Edge stitch on the needle, and then we see the first stitch. Still we have it in white here, and then we continue the same way as before. So the colors are now going in the opposite direction. So left and right, and make sure that you keep the looseness or tightness constant. Last stitch and knit stitch, and then we turn and start again the same way. So knit stitch first, and you can hopefully see the beginning again. I have again gray, and now I won't look at my current row, but at the one below it. So that's the trick here, so below the white. So you have here the gray first, and then we moved it by 2 stitches, and we have our third stitch again in gray. So if you want to see the effect, you need to look in the one before the last row, so never the row you're actually working with. So the stitches always move to the same side, and now we will have basically the same thing happen to the next sections. So the next sections being the gray section and the white for now. So you see here's the 2, and then we can continue to the next color. Here the change from gray to minty blue, and now we will again have it shift to the side a bit. So the color pooling is indeed working. Here, change to a light brown, again later than in the last row. Make sure you remember, so I need a knit stitch here instead of a purl. I'm at the beginning again. So 2 rows ago I have 1 white stitch, and I should have 2 now. And you can see it nicely now, but even if you don't, after you do a couple of rows, you will definitely notice it. Here we are, so you can see the previous rows and how our color change comes a bit later. It's a bit easier with crocheting, to be honest. So here you see how we are shifting the colors, but let me do a couple of more rows first. So here we are. I changed my line so that it's a bit easier to work with. I took a bit shorter one, but you see the changing colors. So the gray first of all crossing here, and that's why it's a little bit darker like this than the minty blue that keeps coming closer, and they will cross soon. And then we have the same with the brown shade again, the light brown, and again with the blue and with the white all the way on the other side. So here it will go out and then come back in to form a cross. So yeah, this is basically the beginning, and this is what it looks like for now. I will get back to you after I finish a bit bigger piece so that I can show you the effect when it's even more clearly on here. So I have here 30 centimeters total, and you can see the pattern really well now. So the lines that cross diagonally and go apart and come together again. So that's how you always get the little squares in one color or the two colored ones as well, like here. So yeah, you can see them all over. It's always one or two colors, and you can always tell how they are surrounded by their neighboring boxes. So I think it looks very lovely already, but of course we will do the rest of the spool. So finish the first one that we have here started, and then the second one as well. So here we are, I finished the whole spool, and this is what I get. So it looks pretty nice right now. So here I am done with the wool, or with this spool, and now I'll start the second one and I'll show you how to do that as well. So here we are. So now first I'll take a look that the colors are the same as I ended. So you see here that I have the beige and gray and mint, and then comes the brown. So we are looking for the same here, and it is like that. So we have the beige, the gray, followed by the minty blue shade and the brown as well. And now we want to align this with the color changes as well. Here brown, and now I'll adjust the part where I am at the moment. I'll connect here exactly where we are at. Old thread we now use to do a knit stitch. Now change the thread to a new one. Pull the old one tight. And just continue with the new thread as if it were the same old one the entire time. And that's how we keep the colors aligned. The only thing you need to do at the end is weave these in, and that's pretty much all there is to it. I will of course shorten these a bit to make the weaving in a bit easier. So we have these two and the beginning and end to weave in. So I'll finish now our second spool, so this one we're working at right now, and then I'll show you what I have. So I have just a little bit left over. So we have a big scarf. We have about 140 centimeters of length, but the scarf is super stretchy. And you can notice that as well. The width is about 35 centimeters, so it's kind of short, but it's pretty wide. So that's our style for today. Now we'll cast the stitches off. So you see the pattern one more time here. So the first two we do just like we always did. The first stitch now goes over the second stitch, and then we continue in this manner till we get to the end of the row. Here is the ending. So just finish the whole row. And here I am, the last two stitches. Pull tight and you see the nice edge that we get. So pull the threads out then and cut them short so that you can weave it in. So we have just a little bit left over here, but we are basically done. So I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think in the comment section. Feel free to shoot a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. And if you would like to see more, stay tuned for the incoming video. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Bye!